I started noticing it, when I became a mother, that our world was going through a mental health crisis. I'm hearing stories about kids committing suicide or killing their parents, or just all the shootings that are so rampant, that are just crazy right now. Um, I just I just feel like our society has easily numbed out a lot of feelings that can happen. And I think that when we mess with the natural process of how we're all supposed to bond and how our bodies, we know that we're full of chemicals and hormones. And the more I know about childbirth, and I think for me intuitively it was all there, but now very scientifically so much has been proven. So, when I started becoming a childbirth educator, I couldn't really explain why, but I could say, when the person you love is supporting you and looking in your eyes and you feel safe, it doesn't hurt as bad. Now we know why. We know the exact hormones that come in. It's all proven now of all of this. So now I've got science really backing me when I'm talking to these couples, and hopefully an intuition is there as well. But the truth is we've messed with a lot. We're telling women that it's a lot of things aren't valid, and I look at birth as a rite of passage. And when you have the right support and you can trust your body, and the right education is there, you can really empower yourself with that. And I'm not saying that every birth, now that I've been a doula for years, I then went on to kind of make being a doula my main focus for many years while I could. I've really learned so much about the birth process, and I'm so humbled by it because every single birth teaches you something different. Every birth is different because every body and every baby is different. So I just want to point out, I really had to lose judgment on a birth having to be natural. There's reasons, and I will be the first person if a mother hasn't slept, because it's a hormonal play, because we need those hormones and the strength, to really be there. If a mother hasn't slept for days, which can happen in the childbirth process, that epidural is a godsend. Or just having that IVF fluid of, there's just interventions that I'm so grateful for. And of course, a cesarean, when it's needed, saves lives. So I'm not saying in any way that we're not so grateful for all that can happen, but I do feel like if we can also educate couples on the opportunities that are involved in birth and on certain choices, and we can sort of really let our doctors and the hospital staff know that this is what we're looking for. Some people are going to be more likely to immediately vibe with a home birth or a birthing center, and you should just always birth where you feel safest. But for being in a hospital birth, I just see lots of people not realize that you are subject to a lot of protocols. And that's where it gets really tricky. So I'm also very passionate about that, about saying, I gave birth in a hospital, I was born in a hospital. Maybe if I was doing it today, maybe I would do a home birth, but I want to support you in the hospital birth, but I need you to understand these are hospital protocols, and let's see how you can navigate it. And I sort of like to give this analogy of, I'm vegetarian, and if I went into a steakhouse, I can't expect a steakhouse to give me a gourmet vegan meal. They don't know. They're going to be able to feed me. They're going to probably be able to give me, some potatoes and maybe some greens or, a salad, but I can't expect them to give me this gourmet meal. So if I'm wanting to go into a hospital and I'm going to want this perfect, beautiful, don't touch me, let me feel the glory of childbirth, I have to know I'm kind of in a steakhouse that maybe doesn't really understand that. And, their motives are a little bit different. They just want that baby out safe and healthy, and these are their protocols. So I feel like I just want to support couples to give birth where they feel safest, because that's the most important way that your hormones will function, normally. And so wherever that may be, just to be educated, on what that is. And so just going back, I remember something that always stuck in my mind during my education, becoming a childbirth educator, that there was at some point a study that was saying that the interventions, that the drugs that happen, you see pregnant women and we're so careful, about like every single thing that a pregnant woman's going to put in her body. And yet when it comes time for the birth, nobody has any problem pumping these, drugs into them. And if you really think about it, the brain hasn't formed completely as for a baby, and the blood brain barrier. And so, obviously it's not the worst thing in the world because we have so many people being born, in that environment. But is it ideal? No. We just can't say that everything is 100% safe and effective. And so I remember in my class being told that there was a study that likened the drug use in labor to later adolescent drug use, and even suicide, and the way that people would commit suicide. And there were just, there were strange things, and I had no question in my mind. I believed it completely, going back again because of our experience rebirthing. I knew it was possible to go back to the thoughts at birth, and to start to think about that. And, watching so many people rebirth and being a part of that, people that felt the actual drugs in them when they used their breath and they went back into this birth process. So I have no idea that, or no question to me, that these memories get held in us. And so I really feel like, it's such an honor for me to be able to guide new parents into the most, it's so sacred and it's so important. And so I just really look at birth as this unbelievable opportunity. And the more I'm in it, I'm also realizing the state of being pregnant, how important. I've had so many incredible mentors, as that are doulas, and people that have really taught me so much in all the courses that I take. And talking about the importance that maybe when a baby is inside of us, that's the most influence we'll ever have on them, is when they're gestating inside, because they're literally marinating in their mother's consciousness. And to me, that's just fascinating. And so I really feel that calling as well, to just take this time in pregnancy, and rather than it be a time where you're just trying to get through, and like, I just have to get this baby out, I want to get the baby out, now life is going to start, to actually realize there's such an important span here. And I honestly look at it as your time to earn. This child has chosen you. It's such an honor to be a mother. And how can you continue to grow, and how can you earn, this trust of this soul that's coming through you, because there's just no greater honor. And so that's something that I just feel really passionate and just so honored to be able to not only be at a birth, but to be able to, guide somebody, whether it's prenatal yoga or educate them on breastfeeding and explaining how their body works. But just really, I just want a mother's intuition be so supported, because I really feel like it's what's going to heal our world and all of the kids coming in. And when you watch the natural process of life, from the love of conception into the birth, and the healing that breastfeeding can do if the birth didn't go well, breastfeeding, and then eye contact, having eye contact with a baby is just, I've never not been able to make a baby just start smiling and laughing by just staring into their eyes. So it can start from the touch and skin to skin and breastfeeding, but then eye contact with human beings. And I just feel like somewhere along the way, we stop valuing all of that. And then I just wonder, that how many times that bond just didn't get there when it should. So I just, I feel like if I can do any part in helping mothers and babies and families just find that bond, it's an honor. So who would have thought, from being a passionate ballerina, that I would be lucky enough to find something that I feel just as passionate about. So I'm super grateful, and just always wanting to keep learning and keep supporting. And yeah. Yeah. So I feel really blessed for that.
It's so beautiful to hear you speak. And I'm in awe of what you do with people. And I love what you say. And I think it's an important lesson for anything in life. I know it applies to me, and that's letting go of the expectation of what you want to have happen and then what happens. And I think that goes probably for everybody in many, many situations. And it's like you said, there's so many other opportunities to bond. If you didn't have the birth you wanted, well, you can find it in the way that you breastfeed, or if that didn't happen, you can consciously choose how you're going to connect with your child and
Yeah.
then raise your child. I know, while we're speaking about birth, I know mom was not happy with my with my birth, and she was actually very upset, and they did put me in an incubator. She believed unnecessarily. She felt that I should have just been on her chest and I would have regulated to her, but they put me in there, and then she watched them feed me sugar water, which I'm not saying that's why I have diabetes at all. But, we'll never know why certain things happen the way that, they happen, or what effect they have on us. But I do know that she was really unhappy with the birth that she had. And I know that when I was doing those trainings, that was part of what we had to work on, was that she felt that she didn't get the start with me that she wanted, and again, that goes back to, there's always a new opportunity for us to find a new way to heal from past circumstances and traumas. But I struggled with that. I struggled when I was diagnosed with what had gone wrong to even lead me up to that point. And it was very hard to get over that, oh, now I'm stuck with this. This is my life now. And how do I move forward? And the change was, I couldn't see it. It's only in hindsight you look back and see why things happen the way they did and what value they have for you.